Hello, love. Welcome to Wildcard Wednesdays here on the Libran Key. These are messages connected to certain topics, again, related to pretty much anything, and taking a more esoteric and spiritual perspective on these things. This is partly a response to a request. I believe it was Tara or Tara, I hope I'm pronouncing that properly, regarding synchronicities and numbers. Now, before I get into this, I just want to say that this is a huge topic, and there are many ways to interpret synchronicities around numbers. We go from the macrocosmic to the microcosmic when it comes to this, because what Spirit is definitely coming through to confirm here, before I get into the notes a little bit, but this is touching upon that, is that there is a language to numbers. This we know, right? When we talk about the language of the universe and numbers and mathematics, that is part of it. There is the language of numbers in a what Spirit is showing me in a very fundamental quantum sense, like how we're actually able to understand and decipher the pragmatics of the universe, is how it's being explained to me or shown to me. But then there's also the language of numbers that we relate to esoterically, that have personal meaning to us, the symbolism around certain numbers. They're showing me like Fibonacci sequences. They're showing me grids, understanding energy through numbers, and how every number has a frequency and an energy and a vibration. Okay. Now, for this particular message, I specifically asked for synchronicities, just reading off of my notes here, regarding numbers, relating to numbers, and what do we need to know right now? So part of this is going to be a timely message in that respect, but also timeless, because it is going to touch upon certain principles that apply no matter what, right? It doesn't matter. But in terms of the ELSH collective, Empaths, Lightworkers, Starseeds and Healers, this is going to be also touching upon specifically what you need to know right now. They gave me, starting with the number 111, this was what came through. And I believe Tara or Tara did mention once. I think you did, right? But they specifically showed me 111, and they gave it as an example in that we need to focus, when we see a repeating number, we need to look at the individual number, then the amount of time that it is repeating. Is it repeating twice, 3 times, 4 times? And then adding that number up. Okay, so they refer to this as the triplicity of 111. Oh my God, this is what happens when I can't even read my writing. Always add up the numbers and look at how many times they are repeating. For example, 1. What does that represent? So we have the macrocosmic. They were giving me examples here. Spirit was giving me the examples of the macrocosmic, in the sense that 1, we know, resonates to the sun. It resonates to the individual. They also gave me fire, that in terms of an element, 1 is a fire. That's the first time I've ever had anything like that come through. Okay. So it'd be interesting. I'm almost thinking now that maybe it would be interesting to do every number. That would be a really cool thing to do, and then work forward from that. And we don't have to start today with 1, because today we're focusing on synchronicities, but in numbers in general. But it would be interesting to do that, to see what might come through. Also, spark, I heard, the divinity in the individual soul as being represented by 1. And then they showed me if it repeats 3 times, what does 3 represent, right? So it's really beautiful because they've kept it really simple. They want us to keep this simple. Like I feel like Commander Ashtar wants to come through for this. I just wanted to say before I get into this, Yeah, Commander Ashtar, I feel wants to come through to speak to us for this. I'm working with the crystals Kyanite here, blue Kyanite, okay, and clear quartz. These are crystals that I just grabbed. Again, this is what I felt I needed to work with for this session before we actually got into it, into the meditation. And these are crystals that I often associate with Commander Ashtar, working with Commander Ashtar. And Archangel Michael, okay, wanting to bring clarity for us, wanting us to keep this simple. Let me just connect here for a moment. Thank you, Commander Ashtar. So I'm just going to kind of tune into this for a second and allow those energies to kind of come into this space with regard to the synchronicities around numbers. I'm going to finish talking to the rest of what came through. So repeating 111, that repeats 3 times, right? 3 is connected with creation. And Spirit gave me the example of when you add the 1 and the 2, you get a 3 to create the 3rd, right? And this is very much with regard to divine feminine, divine masculine being 1, resonating more to that energy, divine feminine being 2, resonating more to that energy, and 3 being this aspect that is created through the 1 and the 2, okay? And they showed me a triangle, Spirit showing me a triangle, 3 points, and saying that this is also connected to sacred geometry. So if you're getting certain numbers come up, like for example, the number 8, what is the significance of a sacred geometrical shape connected with 8, like the octahedron? What does that mean? What does that represent? How is that speaking to you? It can go very, very deep, and it can go very much simple at the same time as like what they're showing to me. I also want to preface here really quickly. Commander Ashtar is wanting me to bring this up, okay? And to remember to say this as well, that synchronistic numbers are different for everybody because we all have personal meanings connected to certain numbers. For example, I've spoken to this before, there is a certain sequence of numbers where if I see them repeating, I know that that is a specific angelic frequency and being that is coming through in that particular moment or wants to bring my attention to something. And he's wanting me to say here that it's really important to understand that sometimes, because this is something that's happened to me personally, and this was a big learning. This was a big lesson for me, that sometimes repeating numbers pop up because they want you to actually bring your awareness to something, and it's not actually a confirmation of something, because I think that there's this kind of, and don't get me wrong, it can be a confirmation of something. You need to know that intuitively. And what he's reminding me here is that intuition is everything. That how you, at the end of the day, how you interpret repeating numbers is intuitive. It's how does it sit with you? After you read the meanings, after you go and you check the angel numbers, after you go and you look up what does the number 3 mean or represent? Macrocosmic, microcosmic, as above, so below, right? It's the idea that we have a personal experience that's very unique to us that connects to a much larger energy, right? A much bigger picture. And how does that fit in? And how does that speak to you, okay? He's actually showing me that the best way to really tune, if you're really struggling, like let's say you've been seeing 111, 111 everywhere, okay? And let's say I give you 111 and I say to you everything that I just said earlier, and something is just not jiving. It's just not sitting right. It's like, yeah, okay, I can see how that relates. I can see how that correlates maybe in certain instances. I can see how the meaning is that. But something still is not clicking. It's not clicking for you, right? He's showing me you in meditation. He's showing me literally, asking your guides, asking spirit, asking whatever energies that you work with for your highest and greatest good. Can you help me with this? You have to ask for help, right? Free will universe, baby. You got to ask for help. You need to ask for help and for clarity. Sometimes he's even just showing me, go within and ask yourself, ask your higher self, why are these numbers appearing? Why do they keep on showing up? Because I could give you 10 different meanings for the number 1, but are they all going to resonate for you at this particular moment in time with this particular situation that you keep on seeing them repeating, right? It all comes down to what is resonating for you at the end of the day, and he cannot stress that enough, okay? Now, I feel like he wants to bring through a message on that. I did pull out the Light Seer's Tarot. I'm not working with any oracle decks because I just sort of felt like if something wanted to come through, I felt like I needed a deck here. And I think he wants to speak on this. He wants to speak on us attuning to our own energies is what I'm hearing. Attuning to our own frequencies and our relationship with numbers. He's showing me that our relationship with numbers, if you work with crystals, he's giving me this example because it's personal to me, right? Let's say, or your guides even, that's another thing that he's showing me. How you work with, for example, crystals, how you work with your guides, the relationship that you establish with them is the same way that you need to work with numbers. Because they are a language that speaks to us in this matrix. That's what he's showing me. There's a reason why, and he's reminding me that even as I went to write this down, because like you know, every time I go to do the notes and start the meditation for this, I always write down the date, right? And today, again, I was directed to add up the date, right? So if you reduce, you know, our entire date today according to our calendar, right? We get the number 2. So today would be a 2 day. Anybody born today would be a life path number 2, right? And he says that's a language. That's the way, that is a way that within this matrix, okay, however you perceive that to be, because some people don't necessarily feel, and there's truth to this, right? Because we all hold aspects of the truth, right? Certain people believe that the way that obviously the calendar, and there's truth to this, the calendar, the way that it is set up is actually, it's fabricated in some way, right? It's a creation of men, right? Without getting too into it, because this is a whole other topic. It's not really true Earth time, okay? It's not cyclical Earth time. It's not true Mama Gaia time, okay? But what Commander Ashtar really wants to make clear here is that there is a language to everything within this matrix. And the point is we need to understand how to decipher it. And everything has some kind of significance in that respect. He's confirming that right now. And this is something that I've always felt too, because, I mean, this goes back to you choose the day you come in here, right? You choose the day, you choose the life path number. There's a reason why the ancients studied numbers and the significance of that, and trying to put a sort of system around days, a system around what's a month, what's a year, right? And so while those things have been created, it's almost like, and this is the best word that I can use to describe this, it's almost like there's a magic, there's an energy that permeates through that. And within this system, source, spirit, your guides, angels, galactic energies, they're going to use this system as a way to communicate with us. That's the significance. It's not that the system itself is actually viable, right? It's not that the system itself, for example, is organic, okay? It's not that the system itself is infallible, okay? It's the fact that through the system, we are being communicated to. Because this is the structure of the way that this matrix works. Okay, I'm going to end it there. I hope that I explained that clearly as I pick up this book, Kyanite. This is the reason why, right? Being able to explain and express things in a clear way without getting too fuddled. Okay, so he wants me to just pop some cards here around how we might better, practical ways, how we might better understand these numerical synchronicities for ourselves on a personal level, on an individual level, is what he's showing me. That is what he's showing me. Self-understanding. This is interesting. Self-love. It's almost like when you do these sort of... Okay, that wanted to come out. So we've got the Five of Cups popping out. Yeah. Interesting. So this goes right back to going within and not always outsourcing what the meaning of a number is to somebody else. And this is how he's presenting it to me, okay? So the cups here are representing how you feel. How is something sitting with you? How are you feeling about something intuitively, okay? In your body, how's it coming up? When something doesn't jive, you hear a definition about a number and it's like, you're not getting that, like, yeah, this is full on, okay? So in this Five of Cups, right, you see that, this is really interesting. It almost looks like a snake again, I'm telling you. I cannot. All these snakes are coming up. Anyway, there's this beautiful cup right here behind her, filled with this beautiful rainbow light. I hope that that's coming through there. And she's looking down into this sort of, what do you want to call that? A well? A little abyss? A hole, right, in the ground. Looking at these fallen cups here, there's about 3 of them here, which is interesting, and she's spilling the 4th one into there. He's showing me this is how it can suck your energy in when you're like, what does this number mean? And you're going online and you're checking all the numbers and you're checking all the meanings and you're asking externally for the answers instead of going within where all the answers lie, okay? Interestingly enough, she's on a beach here, and you see that there's a kind of energy, an environment here of stillness and going into stillness. Like I'm even seeing a cave right now. It almost feels like, you see how there's these like little, almost like branches or something, like tall grass? It feels like we're looking out at her from a cave, almost, you know? That is definitely a message in terms of going within and finding stillness and getting the answers there. He's also saying that sometimes it's really just about quieting the mind, getting into a space, like breath work is amazing for this, like engaging your parasympathetic nervous system, the vagus nerve, right? There's so many resources online for this, so many videos that you can look up on YouTube right here that help you to activate relaxation, the parasympathetic nervous system, breathing exercises to do that, to get you out of the chatter. And he's showing me that that's actually enough. Like you can, it's almost like you do the breathing exercises, you do the research, you do the breathing exercises, and then you forget about it. And then, you know, you're doing something simple like brushing your teeth or like, I don't know, getting ready to go to bed, and then you get that come to you. It's always in the moments where, let's say, you're not actually reaching for something, is how he's showing it to me, okay? And the King of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Beautiful. This is just another confirmation of going deeper within to how you feel, right? This is It's interesting that this is coming through. So I'm being directed to the fact that the energy of this card, the King of Cups, is a master of emotions. Mastery over emotions. How is that? How does that apply here to... Okay, so he's showing me now that the Five of Cups, this is going back to the Five of Cups, where this can be a downward spiral of frustration. This is how it can happen. And that the antithesis to that is this idea of literally, like, it looks like he's sitting on water. He's light, he's sitting on water. It's not this downward spiral energy of frustration. He's also showing me the feeling of lack here. Like, we can start to get really hard on ourselves because we're not figuring it out. Again, that is a huge thing. Like, give yourself a break. Literally give yourself a break from all the searching, from all the wondering. And he keeps on showing me again, like, doing something physical, like breath work, for example, where you're not so focused mentally on this anymore, right? You're coming from a very intuitive place to understand what it means for you, the significance of what it means for you. How does it feel for you? And again, I'm just going to hold these up as I close this message. You see how this beautiful light is coming out of him? He's like, this halo of light is right around him. He's so in tune with it, right? And the crazy thing is that we've got this cup back here that she's not looking at. He wants me to show these as contrasting energies, okay? So this cup is right behind her here, and here is the cup again, right in front of him. And he's got his eyes closed, and he's just tuning in to the cup. He's not even looking into it. It's all about going within, and that energy translating itself, right? Last thing I'm going to say here, this starfish is really popping out here. So the starfish, Commander Ashtar reminding me of, I remember looking up starfish once because I was interested in finding out what it meant as a spirit animal. And one of the things that the starfish are connected to is being very instinctive. They feel through their body, right? This is all about going back into your body, feeling what's right. How do you know when something is a yes? How does that feel in your body? How do you know when it's a, and maybe you need to take a break. Maybe you need to, like, check up for a moment. Maybe you need to get back into your body, do something physical, move, and forget about it, right? Let it percolate. And how do you know when it's a hard no in your body? How does that feel in your body, right? It could be something like, it could be something as simple as like flight, fight, freeze, who knows, right? Freeze is what he's showing me. Like maybe it's a, okay. So I'm going to end it there. This is a big topic that we could touch upon again and again going forward, because it feels as though there's even information to get and to channel, just like with this fire coming out around this one energy, right? That could be very different and very things that maybe necessarily are very pertinent to now and the energy of what's coming through. Yeah, going back to that fire energy, right? So let's see, going forward, what might want to come up around that. I thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Commander Ashtar. Thank you, Spirit, for bringing forward these messages for us. I thank you for being here. If this video resonates with you or anyone, you know it might help, you know what to do. Share it, like it. I thank you so much for all your beautiful comments. Thank you so much for subscribing as well. It means a lot. And I hope that we are able to continue to help each other out with all this stuff. That's why we're here. Thank you so much for being here. Sending you so much love wherever you are, in love and liberation always.